My name is Stacy Malakowski. There are many things for us to consider when determining how to cast our votes on November 24th. Today I want to share with you the facts behind the dollars. First, I must confess I'm a conservative in my views. I oppose tax and spend mentality, and I am against increasing taxes. I believe in hard work and saving for a rainy day. My education and work experience includes 25 years in accounting and finance as a chief financial officer and a certified public accountant. Fact-finding, research, and seeking knowledge are my passions. I'm aggressive when gathering information and seldom rely on others to feed me information. Call me a skeptic. For me, my decision on how to vote comes down to three considerations. Is this the right time, the right price, and the right place? A personal visit to the high school convinced me that this is the right time. Even those opposed to the current proposal agree the existing building is insufficient and needs to be replaced. In 1990, the school board implemented a plan to extend the life of the building for another 20 years. That was 25 years ago, and I'm pleased that my tax dollars were stretched longer and used wiser than originally projected. Repairs needed to extend the life further are beyond what's reasonable maintenance expense. It's time to build anew and save tax dollars from unwise, excessive maintenance spending on the existing building. Because I work in finance, I can tell you with absolute certainty, now is the right time to finance a building. Interest rates remain at historic lows and will absolutely be higher in the future. Interest expense is a cost of building. That's just a simple fact. I prefer to structure financing at a time that keeps these costs as low as possible, and that time is now. Waiting will cause increased pricing on the building due to inflation and interest expense due to anticipated rate increases by the Fed next year. The referendum is now $7 million lower than proposed in May, as deferred maintenance expense has been removed from the referendum. We may still see some or all of that levied as needed, but we will at a minimum save on the interest expense on that deferred maintenance. That is tax avoided and savings for us, plain and simple. Next, I considered the question of the proposed site. Is it the right place for our new high school? To research this question, I obtained copies of the Community Task Force documentation that provided the recommendation on the new high school. The task force was a volunteer group that any of us could have joined. They considered and thoroughly vetted all options, including those now suggested by some opposed to the upcoming referendum. They considered renovating the existing structure, building new at the current high school site, merging and renovating into two buildings, and building the new site now proposed. The minutes from their meetings can be found on the school website for you to read. I read them. I read the documents containing the pros and the cons and the prices for each alternative. In my heart, I wanted to renovate the existing space. I wanted it to be the best option. I thought it would be cheaper. The existing location and building do have a lot to offer our students, and let's be honest, even though I'm not alumni, there's a level of emotional attachment in the history of the building. However, after processing all this information and putting emotion aside, I reached the same conclusion as the task force. The best choice from a financial and investment perspective is to build a new 9 through 12 high school. Please go read the documentation to form your own opinion. And finally, my third point, is this the right price? $35 million for a new high school? I wondered, is that a lot? Are we going to build a Taj Mahal? They're estimating it's going to be $264 a square foot. Are we estimating an appropriate square footage? So many questions. The Vote No group has stated that these costs are unreasonable and that an anonymous local builder at the right price should actually be $175 a square foot. So I decided to investigate the facts myself. To complete my research on these questions, I requested the name of the professionals contracted to help develop these estimates. The district utilized the service of ICS Consulting, Inc. to develop the referendum estimates. ICS specializes in providing planning and project-related consulting services for K-12 schools throughout Minnesota. They're a recognized industry leader in this field, and they have advised that $264 is a reasonable estimate for a new school building at this time. It's also important to understand that the cost estimate is one of the lowest in the state. You can see clearly that $264 a foot will not build us a Taj Mahal. In fact, The proposal for the new school is actually 9% lower than the average of all other schools compared. Next, a demographic analysis and student enrollment projections were developed. They were developed by an independent consultant called schoolfinances.com. Their projections are crucial in developing the appropriate square footage estimate. They have a proven track record of assisting public schools with these projections. I took a few minutes to research their website, and I read the testimonials from administrators across other school districts. They too are clearly experts at what they do. After researching each of these firms and their credentials, I am convinced they have the competence, expertise, and the independence necessary to estimate this project and to provide taxpayers with the most accurate numbers available. Now, all that's left to do is the math. The square foot student enrollment projections multiplied by the square foot estimate provided the amount requested in the referendum. The No Group has offered no facts or cited sources, so I was unable to formulate a fact-based opinion on their estimates. As is required, a detailed report of the proposed referendum improvements, including calculated capacities, enrollment projections, and detailed cost estimates, was submitted to the Minnesota Department of Education for formal review and approval. The Minnesota Department of Education determined that this project proposal is financially and educationally advisable. This out-of-pocket cost for each individual taxpayer can be calculated on the school's website. Simply click on the tax impact and click on the calculator to see how this will impact you as an individual. A home with a tax value of $150,000 would pay $10.32 per month for question 1 and $2.49 per month for question 2. That is a total of $12.81 per month for voting yes on both questions. In closing, after completing my own research and considering the real financial facts of the proposed referendum, I believe it is the right time, the right location, and the right price. The time to act is now. I encourage you to get the facts and vote informed on November 24th. Thank you.